It's amazing. You'll hear, I bet you've heard this so many times that people are like, I want to launch a podcast. I want to start a YouTube. I want to launch a book.
Yeah.
And they've been saying it for years and years and years, when you can literally go on Amazon and upload a book in an hour. If you just learn the steps. It might feel daunting and like, I don't know how to do this, and how do I link my payments and create a book and put it up there. But you can create a one-page book and launch it to at least say you did it, and now you know the steps, so it's not as scary.
100%.
I think so many people are afraid to launch their thing because they don't understand how to do it, and they think it's going to take a lot more time than it actually is. You may not be good at it right away. Your website probably wasn't perfect, but you got the website up within 4 hours, and then you can make it better over time.
And there's this, because that first hour is you paying down the fear of uncertainty. It's all these fears of like not being enough. What if I feel stupid? Because you have felt stupid when you try to figure something else out. But like, if you remember how hard it was to learn how to tie your shoes when you were a kid, right? Because it's like, I have to remember, and then this one, and the 2 bunny ears, the whole thing, right? But like now you can do it in your sleep. And it's just the emotions we have about beginning work because of the judgments we're going to put on ourselves about how we're doing. But if we can remove the judgment of how we're going to do and say, I assume I'm going to suck. And all I'm doing is I'm going to start pulling the thread of this 20 hours. That's my only goal, is to start sucking. That's it. I just want to start sucking rather than nothing.
Right. You gotta love embarrassing yourself the way I feel like it. These skills that you're gonna learn, they're gonna bring you a lot of value long term. They're not easy to start with. They're not. And so you've got to be okay with accepting embarrassment of your own self. What's the belief that, why is it so hard for people that haven't made money? Let's talk about like the daunting number for a lot of people, which is 7 figures. It was hard for me to get over the hump mentally and psychologically of like, how do I go from $5,000 a month to $10,000, then $10,000 to $20,000, and then how do you get a business? I'm talking about business owners. How do you get it to 6 figures and then to the 7-figure mark as a business owner? Do we overcomplicate money in our minds if we've been taught stories as kids or been taught beliefs about it? And how do we get over the overcomplication of making 7 figures as entrepreneurs?
I agree with you that I think it gets overcomplicated, and so we just have to boil it down to the first principles of the math. Like what math is required to make $1 million, right? Like we can either sell, $100 $10,000 things. We can sell $1,000 things. We can sell, and when I say things, you don't have to price your product at $1,000. Your just lifetime value of a customer has to be $1,000, right? So just how much somebody's going to spend with you over the period of time that they buy from you in general, right? Now, if you sell those products, that might just be the lifetime value. But if you sell services like the dog guy, he probably has people who stay with him for years, and so he has to add up that total lifetime value as the number. And it's like, well, how many of those do I need to sell? And then you just divide it by, to back into it. And so once you know the math, right? So the first is like, what is the math to get to the million? And you have to figure out how many units you're going to sell. So let's just use something that's, let's use $1,000 because it's an easy one. Okay,
so 1,000 sales of $1,000.
Exactly. So we have to do 1,000 sales. Now, how are we going to break that down on an annual basis? Because 1,000 sounds like a huge number. Well, it's about 3 a day, right? Like, okay, well, 3 a day is all of a sudden a lot more manageable. And we're like, okay, well, what creates a sale? So at some point, to get set, I'm going to take one step before for 6 figures for anybody who's not there. It's like you have to sell, and this is again for business owners, entrepreneurs. If you have a job, then awesome. But like if you're trying to make money, you have to sell something to someone. That's it. That's all you have to do to get to 6 figures to do that. So that's one avatar, one medium, one channel, right? One product, one channel. That's all that is. You add the 4th piece, which is consistency, right? That's what goes from 6 to 7.